believe there are 4 autofocus capable micro four thirds macro lenses available, and we've looked at just one of them already. So next up, we've got one of the cheaper options. The cheapest is beating it by about 10-20 pounds. Anyway, this is the Panasonic Lumix G Macro 30mm f 2.8 ASPH. We've got a 60mm full frame equivalent f 2.8 to f 22, a 10cm minimum focus distance with a 46mm filter thread. Now this thing only weighs 180 grams. It has OIS. There's no switches on it, just the ring itself right there. And it costs brand new around £256. So is it worth it? Let's look at some straight out of camera stills, maybe some clips, and have a chat about it on the other side. As with all the Panasonic lenses that have tried this, performs well, feels nice in use, and has that very handy mega OIS. And if you're happy with the focal length, yeah, it's definitely a bargain. But for me, I'm not sure I'm that convinced. Yes, the autofocus is fast, very decent for general shooting. Now in macro shooting, I prefer to use manual focusing, and the lens has a pretty generous, considering the size of the thing, and well dampened focusing ring. But if you're only interested in autofocus, even in macro shooting, I suppose it's passable. It's fine. The lens does offer edge-to-edge sharpness. Even pixel peepers, I'd say, would struggle to see any difference, even at wide open and go to f4 onwards. There's nothing in it at all. Now, there is chromatic aberration present when you're shooting wide open onwards, but it's not a massive deal. There's no distortion that I can tell, but I did notice some vignetting wide open that for some of you might need to fix in post afterwards. For me, it's a neither here or there focal length. I don't know if that makes sense. But yeah, nice build, light, relatively compact lens, especially when you consider the features and the performance and the price. Very decent. I just didn't feel that inspired by it, which for most of us who can't just throw endless money at gear, I'm going to say it's a necessary feel when it comes to buying a lens or any gear for that matter. At least that's what I'm thinking, you know. Would I pay £256 or thereabouts for this lens? For macro work, I prefer a longer focal length and arguably a manual only lens. For portraits, I prefer a longer focal length too, and 60mm full frame isn't really my ideal choice for a general shooter, but it can definitely do a job otherwise. So I guess it's a little unfair to mark it down based on a personal preference when it comes to an awkward focal length, because I appreciate that 60mm full frame might be ideal for others, and of course it's not an unheard of focal length in the full frame macro world, for example. Anyway, overall, so far, I prefer the 45mm, but this is fine, especially at the cheaper price. Some may say the Olympus macro lens is the best, but we've yet to really kick the tires on that one, or I should say photograph the tire tread with that one. So I can't really tell you otherwise. But have you used this particular lens? What other Panasonic lenses should we feature that we haven't already? And also, is there a duff recent Panasonic Micro Four Thirds lens out there? Let us know in the comments below. I'll stop gesturing like crazy now. Subscribe, and I'll see you down below in the comments section.